for the TSS Rovers and VWFC.
Good evening from Thunderbird Stadium here on the Point Grey campus, University of British Columbia. Gideon Hill with you to guide you through this first League 1BC women's semifinal here from Thunderbird. It is the Whitecaps U19 Elite and the TSS Rovers out of Burnaby. Rematch of last year's semifinal across the way at Kenwoods Field. The Whitecaps defending champions of the 2022 League 1BC and as well last year League 1BC and interprovincial champions, so they're national and provincial champions. But put all that aside for a moment. You look at these two teams in the all-time matchups. Whitecaps do lead the way, but the Rovers have gifted the Whitecaps 2 losses of the 5 all-time in League 1BC, so the Rovers can tuck that in their back pocket today. A couple of key bodies back as well for the Rovers. Get to the lineups in a second here, but a momentous task here for Kevin Booker's women's Rovers team here this evening. Perfect kickoff temperatures that will last throughout the evening. Quite a bit of support here as well in the building by way of fans and spectators, including a few of the Swan Guardians, who I'm sure will make their way over to Swangard for the men's semifinal later on tonight against Harborside. Take a look first at the visiting Rovers 11. They make 3 changes from last week's game against Harborside. In come Devin Kavanaugh, Taylor Nekic, and Ruby Chevalier. Out are Geneva Musico, Maya Ali Budbud, and number 24 tonight's, number 9 rather, Nia Quinn. They go number 1, Kirsten Tunnen, number 3, Amanda Scott, number 6, Maddie Ma, number 7, Claire Yee, number 8, Sophia Ferrimo, number 10, Katie Bishop, number 11, Jenna Baxter, number 16, Joanna Rizzoza Dolazal, number 20, Devin Kavanaugh, number 21, as mentioned, Taylor Nekic, and number 23, Ruby Chevalier. This is her 8th game played of the season for TSS. For the Whitecaps, in goal will be number 33, Morgan McAslin. She retains her spot from last week's game. One of 6 changes for Katie Collar's team as follows. Number 4, Emily Wong. Number 8, Jamie Perot. The incredible number 7, Geneva Hernandez-Gray. Number 11, Kaylee Hunter. Number 12, Kira Martin. Number 16, Bridget Mudapula. Number 15, Jade Mitchell. Number 20, Chloe Taylor. Number 24, Bianca Patrick. And number 28, the captain, the veteran of this team, Brianne Reed in midfield. A lot of experience throughout this Whitecaps team, making moves after a lot of players on the way to college to start their careers there. As the Whitecaps do lose out, a lot of teams actually lose out a lot of players, the bulk of their squads this time of year as well. But both teams looking to use what they have, the tools they have on the pitch to strengthen themselves to a League 1 BC championship berth a week from tomorrow. 2 big teams, big opportunities here. Will be the League 1 BC final next Sunday. So week from this coming Sunday. That's the next semifinal, League One Women. Burnaby FC and Unity at Cloverdale Athletic Park. Another big test there for both those teams as the Whitecaps have a last chance here to huddle on the far side just in front of their bench. Officials for this evening's matchup. Referee is Denzil Sharma. First assistant referee is Jung Bahadur Kandola. Second assistant referee, Sebastian Potovin. And your fourth official is Oliver Kostanen. Prime ready to go. 20 degrees kickoff temperature here as both teams will line up at half here. Whitecaps in their predominant white home jerseys with the blue strip across the middle, blue shorts and white socks. Rovers in their red on the road here tonight with the white shoulders, red shorts, and red socks as they'll move right to left, the Whitecaps left to right. And both these teams meeting for the second consecutive year in League 1BC semifinal. Whitecaps prevailed last year 5-2 as mentioned at Kenwood's Field, and it was a good day on that day anyways, for Jamie Perreault and a pair. That was last July 29th, so 3 days shy of a year. Whitecaps left to right, Rovers right to left. And we're underway in the first installment of League 1BC women's semifinal, as the Whitecaps will play it into Rovers half. Looks like a handball here on the Rovers and a free kick for the Whitecaps. It's about 35 yards out from goal. There's the number 7, Geneva Hernandez-Gray, over the ball. The shoe will give way here to big Kira Martin. Joined the Whitecaps residency in 2020. As the Swan Guardians making their voices and presence felt down to my right. 3-person wall for the Rovers here, and a ambitious strike from here if it was to be taken by Martin, but she's an excellent set-piece taker. Hernandez-Gray, now Perreault. Bridget Matapula skips past a couple of tackles, and a good job by Maddie Moss, to intercept that one, and played it through by Baxter all the way towards Reed. And she'll kick it away from McCaslin. A bit risky there from the home side. Taylor Nekic now for the Rovers on this left side. Top of the 18 for Jenna Baxter off her right foot. Collected by Jamie Perreault. Good interception by Katie Bishop, the 30-year Rover. Didn't play all last year, though, due to injury, and was exceptional in year one for the Rovers in 2022 with the number 12 shirt. That one ushered out of play on the right side by Chevalier, and a throw in for Matapula, who excellent first season League 1BC for her. From Halifax, Nova Scotia, the Whitecaps number 16 lines up on the left side for that throw-in, just in front of the fourth official. Hernandez-Gray with a lovely attempt to turn, but telegraphed well by the Rovers in midfield. But to pull it back for the experienced Reed. Now Kira Martin, who formed a great partnership part of the year with Tia Mason and Sammy Reimer, but partnered instead with Reed today. Here is Perreault. Perreault towards teammate. Now here's Taylor. That one just roll out for a goal kick here for Tynan. 2.5 in. Tynan will take the goal kick here for TSS as that pass towards Taylor just too far from Bianca Patik. Patik was exceptional in the last home game for the Whitecaps here against Burnaby a couple of weeks ago. Tynan to her right. Kirsten Tynan towards half. Chloe Taylor got a head to it. Now Baxter giving away to Hernandez-Gray. Brianne Reed now, the captain today for the Whitecaps. For Kaylee Hunter, an exceptional year for her. Her second in League 1BC. Beautiful turn from Bishop. 8 goals in the year for Kaylee Hunter. She was paired quite a bit with Kira Blundell. The head front of the Whitecaps attack this year with Blundell now leaving for college. It's Hunter's spot to lose. Taylor. Nudged away right back to the feet of Hernandez-Gray. Bridget Matapula now. Emily Wong, the experienced midfielder. Betty Ma, a little give and go with Sophia Farimo. Back to the left side for Taylor Nekic. Turnee from last year, Nekic, and one of 3 changes for Kevin Booker's squad after the visit to Harborside last week and a 2-1 loss. Devin Kavanaugh finding the net off the bench last week for TSS in that 2-1 loss at the 72nd minute at Kakinishtuk Stadium in Nanaimo. It's the men's team in Harborside in their second year in League One that make the semifinal. Hunter got a foot in. It's back for Katie Bishop. Beautiful ball over the top. Skips perfectly on the turf for Chevalier. Can she get there? And but to pull it as well to usher it out for a goal kick for McCaslin on her left side. McCaslin joined the Whitecaps just before the L1BC season ended. But it's Sanford and Ole Miss in NCAA. Farimo as well. Claire Yee stabs it for Chevalier. Now Farimo all the way back to Tun. Farimo looks like she's playing a center back role tonight. She'll play it up towards half for Claire Yee. Skips into the Whitecaps half for Mutapula, who will just play it back to McCaslin. Kiera Martin now on the right foot for Hunter. Quick pass for Perot. And a couple of Rovers pressure. Plays it through. Claire Yee just about stepped in that one, but Reed did well to step in for the Whitecaps. To probably the more experienced players on the pitch, and Brianne Reed for the Whitecaps and Claire Yee for TSS. Farimo gave it back to Tunnen. Quickly ahead for Katie Bishop. Tunnen under some pressure from Hernandez-Gray, gets it away. Baxter on the half turn for Claire Yee now. Her too didn't play last year due to injury, but an original Rover from 2022 as well. First year in League 1BC for the Rovers, not under head coach Chelsea Hannison. Kevin Booker taking over full-time this year as the head coach after being an assistant. Here's Hernandez-Gray just past the outstretched leg of Perot. Gonna throw in for Nekic. 7 minutes gone, no score. Both teams just trying to find their footing in this game here. Patient start from both squads, not willing to commit or make a mistake. Maddie Mott as well to find Kavanaugh. Now Baxter under some pressure from the Whitecaps, and a high press here for Katie Collar's Whitecaps. Tynan. Farimo to her right. Chevalier then for Yee towards half. Thorne coming up for TSS in that right channel. For Amanda Scott. Incredible 51 games played in her time with SFU on the mountain. This is her 10th game played of the season for TSS. Returnee from last year. 1 of 8 by my count for the team out of Swangard. Baxter. Down the right side by Chevalier, asking for Claire Yee. But it's defended well by Mutapula, who's got the physical advantage there to kind of push Claire Yee aside, despite the good running of the overall third-year Rover. Hernandez-Gray now to accept. She's been quiet so far, but she's the straw that stirs the drink for this Caps team. Beautiful touch on her right foot. Hernandez-Gray defended really well by Katie Bishop. That'll be the matchup to watch today. between Bishop and Hernandez-Gray. Fremo away, but only back in by Reed for Hernandez-Gray. Emily Wong now. For Pro, well stepped in by Nekic for Kavanaugh. Now Taylor Nekic, midfield for Bishop. Quickly ahead for Maddie Ma, just telegraphed well by the Whitecaps. Taylor in midfield and collected again by Kaylee Hunter. Drops very deep as a forward. Striker as make that to collect the ball there for the Whitecaps and gets her team back in possession. Brianne Reed. Hernandez-Gray just away from Ma, and then now for Hunter. Going to play it through for the speedy Perot, and Perot might have a step. She will. Jamie Perot back across, and it struck her over. It was Nekic in the 10th minute to allow the Whitecaps to get their first corner kick of the game here. But the first real burst of pace from the Whitecaps, Jamie Perot. Third-year Whitecap. Pacey on the outside is the Caps number 8. Eleven games played in the year, 2 goals for Pro as it's a outswinger from Hernandez-Gray. Cleared away by Chevalier as it dropped down perfectly for a Whitecap and teased towards the foot of the striker Hunter, but away well by Chevalier, who's done well in her League 1BC semifinal debut for the Rovers here. Matapula for Hunter. Taylor. Perot on the outside on Kavanaugh. Perot gets the better of Kavanaugh, but not Ma who stepped in, but it's all the way back for Taylor. Taylor's right for the ball. It's a lovely ball in. It's not a down and just wide. Excellent ball from Taylor, who we saw play a similar delivery to Patrick against Burnaby FC 2 weeks ago in the last home game, but it does float wide in the header to the right of Tynan for a goal kick. Tynan, the Rovers captain this evening. Ushering up her center back, Rizosa Dolezal, teamed up with fellow returnee Sophia Fremo for TSS today. Tynan towards half for Baxter. Turnover, here's Hernandez-Gray for the Whitecaps, trying to play it through for Hunter. Steered clear by Rizosa Dolezal. And the Rovers counter here. It's Baxter against Motapula. And a foul on Baxter, says assistant referee on the far side, Jung Bahadur Kandola. Free kick for Motapula, the Whitecaps. To the right for Perot. Trying to get past Nekic. Perot channels it in for Hunter. Just swung at it, missed it. Here's Wong, right at the hands of Tynan. Threatening attack again by the Whitecaps, but Tynan did well to scoop it up. Tynan thought about throwing it to her left for Nekic, but finds Maddie Ma instead. Kavanaugh stepped in by Perot. Kavanaugh got it away from Perot. Kavanaugh positive running and fouled by Wong in midfield. And the Rovers will have a free kick here just inside the Whitecaps half. It's first versus fourth here in the League 1BC First Women's Semifinal. Whitecaps finishing first with 32 points from 12 games played. Rovers with 17 from 12. Rizosa Dolezal's left-footed ball up, and Drops down towards the 18 for Baxter. For Zosa Dolsol, left-footed ball into the air, but Whitecaps nodded away. Neck hitch in a collision midair with Hernandez-Gray. Got it back to her right for Chevalier. Maddie Ma with a nice turn. Just away from Claire Yee. Now Hernandez-Gray for the Whitecaps. For Chloe Taylor. Long to her left for Patik, and Patik did well to try and get past Ma, but it's a foot in from Amanda Scott to turn away that opportunity to attack in the left channel for the Whitecaps. Watapula for Taylor. Now Brianne Reed. Clary battling with her opposite 7, Hernandez-Gray up the right side, and Watapula stepped in well. Back for Morgan McCaslin. Martin for Taylor, and now McCaslin again. Chloe Taylor for the Whitecaps. Chance for the Rovers on a counterattack, and a strike by Chevalier was blocked well. Rovers threatening here. Whitecaps maybe a little bit nervous. Playing out of their own back line here. Rovers have pressured well when they've had the ball, and now they get it again as Pro turns it over. Nekic. Zosa Dolezal now. Back for Tynan. Towards half for Claire Yee, just a bit too tall for Yee, and there it is, the loose ball for Wong. Whitecaps getting their subs up and ready here, maybe sign of the disappointment so far in Katie Collar's caps. Both teams have threatened going forward, but nothing really to tell you about so far. Just one shot on target for the Caps to date. That was saved by Tynan. Kavanaugh up the left side is fairly tackled, says referee Denzel Sharma. Getting back well was, I believe it was Hunter. The striker again dropping deep to help out her team defensively. Hunter again with some good running, and foul by Chevalier. 17th minute. If you're just joining us, this is the Whitecaps Champions League L1BC the last 2 years. Only 5 losses all time. Combined 3 seasons of League L1BC, but 2 of those have come against TSS. Whitecaps are 3-1-2 all time against the squad in red today. There's another self-inflicted wound there for the Caps, played away by McCaslin, but nobody there. So the number is just given Mike to present just a bit of hope here for the Rovers, and they played really well in the first 18 or so here from Thunderbird in a tall task. Rematch of last year's semifinal, same seeding as well, when the Whitecaps prevailed 5-2 at Kenwood's Field across the street. Whitecaps going on to beat Unity in the final at BC Place in a well-contested final, and then in the Interprovincial Championships at Willoughby Community Stadium in Langley. Perot for Martin. Martin trying to play it quickly for Wong, but Yee just about there. Foul then on Maddie Ma. Swan Guardians making their presence felt here. 19 minutes gone. Like what I've seen from the Rovers so far, and the Whitecaps as well. Whitecaps just a couple of passes defensively that allowed the Rovers to open up a little bit attacking-wise. Set up in a 4-1-4-1 block here as they defend this free kick for Brianne Reed of the Whitecaps. And some pressure here from Nekic. Hunter plays it back into the 6. Cleared away by Bishop, but not out of danger yet of the Rovers. Here is Jamie Perreault, steps past one, but not past Kavanaugh. And the Rovers will deal with it all the way out to half for Baxter. Throwing for Kier Martin in the 20th minute. Brianne Reed, a great addition to this Whitecaps team, one of a few they announced before the end of the, or just after the conclusion of League 1BC season. Played with Kansas City in the NWSL and Nordsjælland in Denmark, so one of a few stops in the journey for veteran Brianne Reed. Good tackle there by Nekic. Hernandez-Gray from outside the 18. Geneva Hernandez-Gray saved by Tynan. That's where she likes to shape up from distance. Hernandez-Gray, remember she scored the winner at Swangard Stadium in the 2022 League 1BC final. That year against now defunct Varsity that turned into Notsamot. An excellent final that was. Varsity took the lead early. I believe it was actually Jenna Baxter who scored, and then Eva Oching tied it off a corner. Second half before Hernandez-Gray scored in the dying moments to win the initial League 1BC final for the Caps. Good challenge to free up the ball on the right side by Amanda Scott. Pensive Katie Collar on the Whitecaps touchline. Kevin Booker midway to his center bench. Here's Hunter testing and scoring! Outside the 18, Hunter. Tynan could only get a glove to it, and Hunter, her 9th of the year, puts the Whitecaps ahead 1-0 in the 22nd minute. As Hunter just unleashed one from the 18, and it gets past Tynan. 9th goal of the year in her 12th game for Hunter. Exceptional second season in League 1BC. And the Whitecaps find themselves ahead here midway through the first half at Thunderbird Stadium. Just a nice strike from Hunter. Didn't have to do a whole lot with it. And it skidded past Tynan. The 22nd minute. Hard to do much more than that for as a goalkeeper if you're Tynan there. It's hit with such power. From Kaylee Hunter.
Kaylee Hunter. The assist to number 16, Bridget Butapula.
Butapula will get the unofficial assist.
Hunter, her first of the playoffs from Butapula in the 22nd minute.
Quite the season for Hunter, a prospect for years to come. Has spent time with the Canadian women's national team. Under 19s as it was. Reed for the assistee, Mutapula. Hauled down Clary, but advantage played on by the referee. Can the Rovers answer? Martin plays it away. Mutapula now for Reed. Reed from Mutapula. Here and Yee have battled on that right side for both teams so far. It's Baxter quickly to the challenge. Wins the challenge, gets the ball, plays it through. McCaslin has to punch it away. It's off the post. Dangerous effort from Baxter from the right flank, just about equalized. 2 minutes after the Hunter goal. It's hard to see from this angle. Thought it was just a weak cross in from the right side that was going to go wide, but it took off in the sunshine and maybe fooled McAslan a little bit. He had to push it away from danger. Hernandez-Gray gets it back. Best chance so far for TSS from almost the far touchline. That carried off the post and just over McAslan's goal. Going to hit both posts. But either way, it's still 1-0 for the Caps here in their own stadium. Nekic had to just get rid of that one there. Third corner here for the Whitecaps. Taking the lead in the 22nd minute thanks to Kaylee Hunter. First goal of the playoffs, but 9th overall in the season. Whitecaps 21 more goals than the next closest team in Unity FC with 48 this year. As the corner's cleared away from the visiting Rovers. Back up in the air away from Nekic, who's been a tough customer in this left flank for TSS. Perot for Martin, then Reed. Emily Wong under pressure. Chevalier has been excellent. Baxter for Yee as the Rovers get back the ball here once again. Bishop under pressure, lost it. Went after Hunter, sliding tackle. Brilliant tackle there from Rizosa Dolsall, wins it back for TSS. Rizosa Dolsall. Right to Hunter as she tried to get rid of the ball. Kira Martin for Chloe Taylor. Look, I might have skipped past Matapula, but first-year cap did well. Matapula to keep it within her reach. Hernandez-Gray almost overtaken by Devin Kavanaugh. Here is Perot up the right flank for the Caps. Perot, good running for Hunter, and he grabbed by Tynan. Besides that save earlier on the goal from Hunter, Tynan hasn't been too busy. McAslan just about beaten in the Whitecaps net 2 or 3 minutes after the goal for her own team, and it was a innocent-looking cross that turned into a shot for Baxter. Played here the past year or two with varsity and Nonsamon in League 1BC. Assistant coach at SFU as well, the women's squad up there, and had a great year with TSS. Jenna Baxter, 11 games played, 5 goals. This one trying to find her. Offside, though, as she played it ahead from Ma. A great look, a great touch from Baxter, and judged to be offside. Says the assistant referee on the far side. He's been busy up the right flank with the running that Yee and Mutapula have done on the left back of the Whitecaps. Mutapula and the winger for TSS, Claire Yee. Rovers will look to the tutelage and the veteran presence of Claire Yee in this game here. As mentioned, 30-year overall Rover, missed last year due to injury. Did well to battle back towards the end of the year. Played some time as well with TRU Wolfpack in the Canada West in her last season in college soccer. Chevalier has run a lot of kilometers so far for TSS and won a couple of duels as well. Martin, a long switch from Mutapula. Up to the left side quickly, brought ahead by the Caps. Hernandez-Gray. We're going to go back there for Jade Mitchell. First time you've heard her name today. Jade Mitchell, excellent year to start the season with Altitude FC. Women's squad finished 5th, 7 points behind the Rovers. Mitchell, 10 games played for Altitude overall this year. 5 goals as well, so not a bad ad by the Whitecaps to replenish what they lost to college or the players that moved on. Amanda Scott on the left foot towards half, and a foul, says referee Denzel Sharma. A free kick just inside the Rovers' half. As Kevin Booker takes his seat alongside his assistant coach on the far side, Brennan Corey, joined by Cami Gomez on the TSS bench. Whitecaps have Katie Collin, her third season with Esteban Mora, her assistant this season. Kaylee Hunter, beautiful turn. Channels it through. It's a perfect ball. Hernandez Gray! Robbed by Tynan. Excellent stop. Could have oh so quickly been 2-0 for the home side. But Tynan thumped it away beautifully. A two-hand save. Keeps her team firmly in this match with an exceptional save on a chance for Hernandez Gray. Hernandez Gray this season. Pause for that for a moment. It's up in the air and headed off the side netting by Patrick. Hernandez Gray this season for the Whitecaps. He's had 8 goals overall. 50% of those have come against TSS. She scored 3 in the first meeting of the season, all the way back on Sunday, May the 5th, and a 7-0 Whitecaps win here. And it was 2-0 Whitecaps at Swangard as the Rovers closed down that gap between the two squads in June the 21st, as Hernandez Gray also found the back of the net, and Kaylee Hunter. But what a save by Tynan. About the 29th minute. Staring Hernandez Gray pretty much player to player, and incredible save as Yee through for Jenna Baxter! Save by McCaslin! Back-to-back beautiful saves as the keepers now right in the spotlight of this one tonight. It was a perfect touch from Yee, and it was an even better opportunity for Baxter, and she did everything right, but McCaslin turned away. Here come the Caps, and stepping in well was Farimo. Quickly getting back possession for her squad. Chevalier for Baxter on the half turn. Back up in the air for Taylor. For Perot. Now Kira Martin. Bridget Mutapula. Wong now to Mutapula, running ahead for the Caps. Steers it left for Patrick. Thumped away by Farimo. Has done well as a center back this year. Dropping back for TSS. Lost a key player from last year, Molly Corey, who decided to take her talents to VWFC. We're playing in the second League 1BC Women's semifinal on Sunday. Cloverdale Athletic Park. That one, a 2 p.m. kickoff. That will also be streamed live on YouTube with myself, Gideon Hill, the call. Looking forward to a game and a half still here of great women's soccer action in League 1BC. To cap off what's been a tremendous season in the women's division. Still have a final to go next Sunday at Swangard Stadium, the home of the 2022 League 1BC championship matches. Clary in the right side, just touch misled her. Here in the 33rd minute. Farimo with the header down, but it went kind of right into the feet of Hunter. And out for a Whitecaps corner here. They're fourth by my unofficial count. Hernandez Gray waltzes over to take here for the home side. Hernandez Gray called up to the women's senior national team for the Christine Sinclair send-off tour at Starlight Stadium in Langford and at BC Place. An emotional game back earlier in the year as that one headed on and into the back of the net. Chloe Taylor knotted it down off the Hernandez Gray corner. And Hernandez Gray this time plays ahead in the goal. And it's 2-0 for the Caps on 34 minutes, and blink and you'll miss it here for the Rovers. Quickly, a 2-goal lead for the hosts here. And it was off a corner, their fourth of the game. In the 33rd minute, 11 minutes after their opener from Hunter. And Hernandez Gray, corner, found the head of, I believe it was Chloe Taylor, but we'll have to get affirmation from in-house P announcer Alistair Burns. But it seemed like a Chloe Taylor-esque header into the back of the net. If it is her goal, it'll be her third in 10 games this season. Here is Hernandez Gray. Can the Whitecaps add more to their tally? Here is Butapula.
The assist to number 7, Geneva Hernandez Gray.
It is Brianna Reed.
In the 34th minute. Reed, her first of the playoffs.
And the veteran with a towering header for the Whitecaps. There's a mix of bodies in there. Taylor was in the mix, but Reed the one scoring the goal. Put her team ahead 2-0 here, and the Rovers now with the mountain to climb. Bishop. Quickly ahead for Amanda Scott, who's got some hustle trying to get there, and went off of her foot for a Whitecaps goal kick here. Some good running from Amanda Scott. Here in the 36th minute. Flashback to what would have been a 1-1 game if not for a nice save on McCaslin earlier on in the, I believe it was 24th minute. As Baxter hit to the post, then the arm of McCaslin, another post. As that one skipped past two Rovers. Hunter, Hernandez Gray stepping in well was Farimo, and now it's off the foot of Hunter. Tynan has to play it quickly for Nekic. For Zoza Dolasol, the nice step over all over her was Hernandez Gray. Nekic, now Bishop. Zoza Dolasol for Tynan. Tynan quickly towards the feet of Chevalier, who did well to take a touch, but overpowered illegally, says referee Denzel Shamra, by Kaylee Hunter. Free kick for the Whitecaps. Bishop lost it midfield. Hernandez Gray. 38th minute of action here. Hunter from outside the 18 for the Whitecaps to lead in the 22nd. And 11 minutes later, a header from Brianna Reed off a corner from Hernandez Gray. As the Whitecaps ahead in this League 1BC Women's Semifinal, Episode 1. Episode 2, or Game 2, coming on Sunday at Cloverdale Athletic Park between Unity and Burnaby. Great job by Lee Tregoning and the Burnaby FC women's staff to get them, and the players as well, can't forget about them, to get them to that spot on Sunday. All or nothing game against Unity, last year's League 1BC finalists in the women's division. Bishop for Claire Yee. Baxter to her right. Yee quickly ahead for Devin Kavanagh, who's in behind the defense. Reed does well to kick the ball away from her, but still there for Baxter. Good running from the veteran. Baxter with an overlap from Maddie Ma. Try to get it back, and a foul there on Baxter. 39th minute here is the Rovers just trying to chip away, get a chance. One chance is all it takes to get back in a match, as we saw the Baxter half chance that almost ended up in the back of the net. This one over the head of Verzosa Dolsol. Hernandez-Gray running rampant to try and keep it in. She does really well. Hernandez-Gray, right foot of ball in. Stab back up in the air by Farimo. Missing the header was Nekic, trying to win it back, Perot. Great running from Hernandez-Gray here. We didn't play the final 2 games for the Whitecaps. Was here watching the Burnaby game at Thunderbird as the Whitecaps accepted their trophy for being League 1BC Women's regular season champions. Whitecaps just dropped 2 games this year overall. Incredibly, 4 points. After a 0-0 draw versus Rivers and Kamloops. It's the first time they were held scoreless as well this year, I should say. So Whitecaps have quickly gotten the frustrations out of not scoring last week for the first time all year to getting a pair here in the first 33 minutes at Thunderbird Stadium in the semifinal. Only drop points this year for the Whitecaps were June 12th versus Altitude and last week versus Rivers, in a team that's also held a clean sheet in 2.5 games here, including this one. This one might find the feet of Baxter. It rolled off of her shin back to McCaslin. .41 minute. Can the Rovers get one back, half the lead before halftime, or even tied up here? They've looked good going forward. It's just that killer instinct for Kevin Booker's squad yet to find its way into this game. Whitecaps have been clinical. That one played through to Perot, all the way back for Bishop. Farimo. Clary in the right side. Back for Sophia Farimo towards half. Mutapul is up there, dropped down between her and Baxter. And met by the second goal scorer, Reed, but she's overtaken by Baxter. Excellent play by Baxter, but Mutapul has been exceptional. Probably player of the game so far for the Whitecaps. Came in to win the ball back and keep her team on the attack. Hernandez-Gray and Chevalier with a tussle in midfield, and it's Whitecaps free kick from inside the Rovers half. Reed tying the cleats, so Martin will take her time with the delivery here. Rovers just trying to hold a steady line against a very good Whitecaps attack. Playing too quickly was Martin, deemed the referee. She'll channel it wide right for Perot. Perot and Nekic collide, but Perot gets the better of Nekic. And then again Kavanaugh, but there to get rid of it was Verzosa Dolazal. Kira Martin, right to the leg of Battima. Throwing here for the Whitecaps just in front of the fourth officials table. Trying to just kill off the next 2.5 minutes here, going into halftime up by 2. Here's Reed. Bishop. Hopeful ball. The Whitecaps half. Arden plays it away. There's Perot. Rare touch for Jade Mitchell in this match, but puts a foot wrong there as Kavanaugh was taken out by Martin. You feel like Kavanaugh is going to have to be involved in some capacity here. The Rovers to get one back after coming in as a sub last week and scoring against Harborside in the 72nd minute. See if Rovers even look to their bench. Hannah Martinelli on there. Zico, Ali Budbud, Linda Quinn, Claudia Mazzi rather, and Maya Courier. For Zozadal, so lifted ball up. Cleared away, but not out of danger. Whitecaps just slotted out towards half. For Zozadal, so just could not find Kavanaugh. Hernandez Gray. Approaching the 45th. 2-0 Caps. But Tapula. Now Hernandez Gray. Hunter with a good run towards the ball, but Rovers got the better of that one, and he'll try and counterattack here. Clary on the right touchline. Farimo. Now Yi in the turn and telegraphed by Wong. Right to Maddie Ma now for TSS. Here come the Rovers. Nekic up this left side. Not much support in the middle. She'll go out wide left for Kavanaugh. Kavanaugh's right-footed ball took a deflection. It's a teasing effort. Might fall back for Katie Bishop, a rocket! It's a beautiful goal! Katie Bishop, a scorcher from 25 yards out, gets one back for the Rovers at a perfect time, just what they needed. And it's 2-1 Whitecaps, but don't go away, Rovers fans. An excellent goal from Katie Bishop. Picked that one out. And her 9th game played of the year. Her first goal and a picture-perfect strike. No better time for one than Katie Bishop in the 45th minute. And added time, actually. Probably about the 46th as the smoke is set off here at Thunderbird Stadium. And you know the minute that the ball kind of dropped down, Bishop was going to have it. And it soared into the top corner over the left shoulder of keeper McCaslin. And that's halftime. What a match so far here at Thunderbird Stadium. The Whitecaps do lead 2-1 over the Rovers, but TSS threatening. They get one back just now off a screaming effort from Katie Bishop to make it a 1-goal game. And for them, perfect opportunity to start the second half strong and maybe even add it to this single tally they have thus far. It's been a good one. Score at halftime, Whitecaps 2, Rovers 1. Hunter in the 22nd from outside the 18. 33rd minute, it was Hernandez Gray corner to Brianne Reed, the veteran, the captain for the Whitecaps tonight. And then Katie Bishop with a blasted effort in the top corner of the Whitecaps goal to half the Whitecaps lead going into the second half here in the first installment of League 1BC Women's Final here on YouTube. We'll have the second half coming up in about 50 minutes' time. Halftime here from Thunderbird at Whitecaps 2, Rovers 1. Welcome back to Thunderbird Stadium on this Friday night. University of Point Grey campus at University of British Columbia Point Grey campus here. Gideon Hill with you for the second half of action between the TSS Rovers and the Vancouver Whitecaps, the U19 the women's elite team, and quite the story in the first half of this League 1BC women's semifinal matchup, as the Whitecaps didn't quickly get themselves ahead, but when they did, they added a tally. 11 minutes later, it was 22nd minute goal from Kaylee Hunter, and then one in the 33rd minute from Brianne Reed off a corner from Geneva Hernandez-Gray. And then that was kind of it for a little bit for the Caps. They kept pressing. Rovers held strong, and then they got one back themselves through Katie Bishop, who scored one from about 25 yards out. What was a beautiful strike from distance. And quite the effort, as he is out for TSS. For Tilly James, who's going to go up top to be a winger. Here is Hernandez-Gray. Coy Taylor. Mia Gutierrez in, who is excellent for the Caps in place of Mitchell. Mutapula is out for the Caps. Josie Longhurst, the experienced number 19 for the Caps, comes in. Whitecaps sprinkling a little bit of veteran leadership in this second half, with Longhurst coming into the squad off the bench, and Brianne Reed, who retains her place in the first half, the goal scorer, the second one for that matter, scoring off the corner from Hernandez-Gray. Baxter trying to steer it to her left for Kavanaugh, all the way back to Morgan McAslin in the Whitecaps goal. Just outside the 18, takes a touch, plays it to Rovers half, nodded away by Rozosa Dolasol quickly for Kavanaugh. Now Baxter, can the Rovers tie it up here just after the stroke of halftime? Kavanaugh for Tilly James, and she was shoved, and it's a penalty for the Rovers. Not even a blink of an eye from Denzel Sharma points to the spot. The Rovers can tie it up 2 minutes after halftime. And it was a delicious ball from the left wing from Devin Kavanaugh towards the area. And Tilly James was shoved. And her squad will go to the spot in the 47th minute. Great substitution for Kevin Booker as he puts James, a prolific goal scorer in Canada West. Also has played center back in her time with the Spartans out in Langley at Trinity West University. As Jenna Baxter will step up after James won the penalty for TSS in the 48th. Jenna Baxter to level it up! Top corner from Jenna Baxter! And the Rovers equalize, it's 2-2! Right after halftime on the penalty kick, and Jenna Baxter strokes it into the top corner. And we have ourselves a tie game here. And that's a game plan to perfection for Kevin Booker. Makes it 2-2 here. And he makes a substitution. Tilly James comes in, pays dividends as she wins a penalty kick for her squad. And a almost favored Rovers crowd to my right erupted as the referee pointed to the spot. The smoke is off and running again to my right. And we have ourselves a 2-2 game in the first semifinal women's division on this beautiful Friday evening from Thunderbird Stadium in Vancouver. That ball got on a bounce, and away comes Kaylee Hunter. Bishop struck a Whitecap with their clearance. Might find Mia Gutierrez back for Chevalier. It struck Gutierrez with the clearance, and it will be a goal kick here for Kirsten Tynan in the Rovers' goal. 4 corner kicks so far for the Caps, none for TSS. As the Rovers make it 2-2, and a goal kick here for the visitors. Wong Longhurst, beautiful turn, quickly ahead. Kaylee Hunter had it run over her foot, and it went off of her. She keeps it in. Back off her over for a corner kick. What will the play be here for the Whitecaps after having their 2-goal lead evaporate quickly? At halftime, 45 minutes. In added time, it was the first of 2 for the Rovers. It was Bishop. And then in the 47th, Jenna Baxter on a penalty kick gives her side the equalizer. Lofted ball in, away beautifully. Defending was Farimo. Her and Verzosa Dolasol have really held the ship. And the center back role for TSS tonight. That one off the foot of Taylor Nekic, out of play. After the Rovers kind of went down this right flank in the first half against the Whitecaps left back Mutapula, they switched it to the other side and they found some success right away. As Kavanaugh's delivery was perfect towards James, who was fouled, and that allowed the penalty kick to be taken. But Baxter, the equalizers, this one's lofted towards Tynan's goal. It will just harmlessly bounce to her right. Baxter, her 6th goal of the season, averaging a goal every 2 games. This is her 12th game played overall. And it's a 2-2 game here. Tynan will play it away for TSS. Tynan towards Tilly James, up there, flicked on by Maddie Ma. James trying to flick it on, beautifully does so. Kavanaugh ahead for Tilly James on the right flank for TSS. Low delivery towards the 18. Whitecaps do well to clear it out of danger's way, but Bishop, player of the match for TSS in my eyes. Gets her team, play it to the right for James. Tilly James now trying to channel it through for Baxter, and Emily Wong made sure to get that back for her team. Another loose ball from the Caps. Bit nervy right now on the pitch. Both these teams maybe not sure about this one. 2-2. Whitecaps obviously favored given their great record this season. No losses, 10 wins, 2 draws. As Hunter on the right flank. And there's Longhurst with a little chip over the goal. Such a tough shot to take on the cross body shot as he had to kind of lift it. And Longhurst with the good technique. She's has that ability. Does Josie Longhurst from Enbridge, England. Played with Reading FC and Cardiff and Brighton and Hove Albion. So obviously from some professional experience along with Brianna Reed and this Whitecaps team today. Mix it in with the keeper, Morgan McAslin. You have a team that's supplemented the losses, as I mentioned, the first half, the Blundells of the world, with experience. Maybe not chemistry, that's hard to come by this time of year, but credit to Katie Cull and her staff have made it seamless for Reed. And to now Longhurst, the number 19, coming in, playing as attacking midfielder by the looks here. Her and Bishop kind of marking each other in the midfield, just about the center line as the ball goes towards them. One skips past Bianca Patrick, who I thought was very good against Burnaby 2 weeks ago in the Whitecaps curtain closer at home before they went on the road to Rivers last week and drew 0-0. First time they were held scoreless all season. Had 7 clean sheets, all League One, the Whitecaps in their season anyways, and that was quickly snapped. They had 2 consecutive games at 2 games in 45 minutes of action before they conceded that goal to Bishop, and take nothing away from that effort from Bishop. That is spectacular from the 30-year Rover. Here is Tilly James, Bishop, former Laurier University player out in Eastern Canada. Taylor Nekic trying to play it towards Chevalier. It was back up in the air from Kira Martin. Well met by Devin Kavanaugh, who's run a lot in the left flank today for TSS. Maddie Mabach back in the air. It's back to the feet of Amanda Scott. Ma retains ball possession for her team. For Zoza Dolezal. Chevalier, just a mental mistake there as she played it on the inside of her foot, but just to her left, a few yards ahead was Kavanaugh, not in the vicinity where the ball was played by Chevalier on the instep. Tilly James, a substitute at halftime. Won a penalty 2 minutes into the half after coming in, and that one, it looks like it struck the arm maybe. And well won back by Emily Wong for the Caps. Maybe another controversial call there for the home side as they get away with one, perhaps. Referee doesn't get a second look at it, so has to be firm in his call as he was in the penalty that gifted the Rovers back in this game. Here is Longhurst. That one off the head of Hernandez Gray here. Patrick won back really well by Scott. Whitecaps get it back though. Mia Gutierrez. Kaylee Hunter shapes up from about 35 yards out from goal. Hunter onto the left foot, still going, and pass for Zoza Dolezal. My apologies, but stepping in to support was Farimo. This one played into the Caps half. Baxter will chase. McCaslin will retreat. Played to her right quickly for Kira Martin, the towering center back. Martin up ahead the right flank for Jamie Perreault. Quickly for Kaylee Hunter. Hunter trying to get into the edge of the box. Will find Perreault, met by our opposite eight. Farimo, Perreault on the turn, all the way through, off a rover and a corner here for the Caps. Excellent running by Jamie Perreault, corner number 7 here for the Caps. In the 57th minute, in a 2-2 game. 35 minutes to go. It's been excellent thus far. If you're just joining us, first semifinal in League 1 BC Women's Division. Quality matchup between these two, and that's a flick on header over the goal. Hunter frustrated maybe, but wasn't a header how she scored in the first half. It was an excellent strike from about 22 yards out on a right foot that skipped off the glove of Tynan to the back of the Rovers net at the time. TSS have turned this game on its head. Will they play a home final in League 1 BC? 9 days from now, next Sunday, at Swangard Stadium, where the Whitecaps play spoils and continue on this great run they've had in League 1 BC. Still a lot of time to go here. Both teams a lot to play for. Baxter. Kavanaugh trying to quickly feather it back for Baxter, but Whitecaps did well to win it back, and a spin move by Longhurst was nudged away by Bishop. Both teams already look to their bench. After 45 minutes, we'll see who's next to make the move here. Feels like a chess match right now between these two. All to play for, all square. Scott didn't get all of that clearance, and the Whitecaps chance to run at the back line here. Scott got a foot in. Patrick recovers. Patrick, lovely right-footed ball. Skips once, cleared away, met perfectly in the volley by Nekic towards the Whitecaps half. Emily Wong steps up to this one, playing as almost a left center back here for Katie Collar's Caps. Mia Gutierrez for Patrick onside. Patrick, a beautiful move to her right, couldn't get the shot away. Ma couldn't step in. Here is Hernandez Gray. Hernandez Gray! Saved by Tynan. It's cleared away by the Rovers. Right in her wheelhouse again. And this time, again, Tynan better to that one. And away come the Rovers. Chevalier wins the ball really well. Baxter off to the races for TSS. 60th minute. Baxter to the end line. On her right foot, cuts it back for Tilly James. James, the layoff for Bishop. Hernandez, great to scoop that one up, and there wasn't much of a support or a shoulder check there from Bishop from a teammate as you saw Hernandez Gray making that run from almost about the 40-yard line. As now the Whitecaps do go to their bench. Emily Wong's race is run. In comes Tia Mason, the number 14, her 12th appearance of the year. Came from Mountain United, joined the program in 2020, did the number 14 for the Caps, Tia Mason.
In the bench, number 14, Tia Mason.
Wong, one of the experienced players you expected to be a key part of this Caps team today, and did well in this last 15 minutes, or first 15 minutes in this match, the second half. After halftime to just kind of nullify the attack there, and a calm mind as that one by James pulled wide on her left foot. Those are the types of players, the Emily Wongs of the world and Hernandez Grays, the pros, to just be a bit of leadership right now. Use the words to try and help the team out. That's exactly what Wong did, and dropped back from her midfield role to be almost a left center back. Help the team out. Tilly James on a Caps giveaway. James through for Baxter, and in came Martin to clear it away on her left boot. Patrick will corral it just inside this left touch line, and now it is out. Throwing for the Rovers here have definitely turned this game on its head as they keep going. 61st minute. Throwing for Amanda Scott. Ma and James the closest to the ball here for TSS. It will find the feet of Tilly James with a beautiful turn. James keeps running. Great ball in for Baxter and cleared away. Here's Bishop. Chevalier now for Ma. Finds Tilly James and the overlap for Ma. Bishop. Beautiful flick ball to the feet of Ma here. Maddie Ma onto her right foot. Back for Bishop. Rovers keeping the pressure on here. Beautiful stuff from the visitors. 15 points behind the Whitecaps overall in the standings. As well, 27 less goals, but it hasn't been a factor today. Rovers actually finished the year on a -7 goal differential. Take away that opening season loss for them here against the Caps. That 7-0 defeat. It would be an even spread, but only 3 of the 7 teams in the women's division, League 1BC, finished with a plus goal differential. Just showed you kind of the separation from 1 to 3 and then from 3 to 4. Only 3 points though between TSS and Burnaby, so it doesn't tell you a full story, but other teams, Altitude, Rivers at Harborside, have threatened as well this year. Very competitive women's division and third installment of League One British Columbia. Mia Gutierrez cut out well by Bishop, and she'll channel it all the way back to Tynan. Fremo's done a lot of running today with Rozosa Dolasol to her left. Tynan plays it long towards half for Tilly James. That was recent sub Tia Mason stepping in well. James thought she'd won the throw. She didn't. Play on, says the referee. Chevalier, Bishop, probably 2 most influential players today for the Rovers. Could throw for Remo in there as well with the way she's defended. Tia Mason away. Maddie Ma nods it down, but first 2 it was Longhurst, the sub. Then again for Gutierrez. Fresh legs for the Caps. Mia Gutierrez through for Hunter. Good job to defend by Fremo. Still there for Hunter, and scooped away. It was Longhurst actually came in to support. And it's out the far side. Throwing here for Perot. Perot back quickly for Taylor. Oh, I thought at the first goal, but she was in the mix and was able to add a couple to her name this year. Chloe Taylor. Brianne Reed back for McCaslin. Kira Martin, 65th minute. Martin, good job by Kavanaugh. Kavanaugh might be through for TSS. Devin Kavanaugh! It's off her side to the outside of the post. And away by McCaslin in the 65th minute. Another mistake in the back line here by Martin. Rovers almost punishing the Caps for that one. But it stayed out off the outside of the goal. .65th minute of action here. Up in the air from McCaslin. Hernandez-Gray. Ma tried to step in. Baxter a foot. And thought it was going to be a yellow card for Baxter. Yes, it is. Our first caution of the match. In the 65th minute, Rovers only had a couple of yellow cards this year. No player on the squad with more than one. As Baxter takes a yellow in the 65th. Referee making sure to point Mr. Denzel Sharmer to how many infractions Baxter had. Tia Mason. Scott now for Ma. For Remo. For TSS. Scott just past Bishop. Remo recovers. For Chevalier, referee says no hand. Bishop allows the play to keep going, and it's a dangerous ball over the top for Baxter. Baxter might get there. Jenna Baxter for TSS save. Tilly James keeps it alive. Jenna Baxter saved by McCaslin, but it rolls through. And Jenna Baxter thinks she scored. What's the call here? Whitecaps player on the pitch. It rolled past Morgan McCaslin. And we'll see if it is given a Whitecaps or Rovers goal. I'm sorry. For the Whitecaps player down. And it did find the back of the net. As Whitecaps player being tended to here. Two back-to-back saves by Morgan McCaslin keeps this game 2-2. Baxter thought she'd won it. Initial one save by McCaslin. It went back to James. And quite the effort from both keepers today. Hernandez-Gray has been robbed point blank twice by Kirsten Tunnen. In the Rovers goal, it goes over to give some support to her teammates. All to play for, 23 minutes to go. As I think it's Brianne Reed on the deck here for the Whitecaps, a veteran, who's receiving some attention from the Caps training staff. She's unable to continue here. It'd be a huge loss for the Caps, but she was the one that was second to the ball when Baxter got through on the layoff from Kavanaugh, I believe it was. And they are signaling to the sideline for Reed to come off with substitution. Tough break here for the Caps. She's been very good today. Did score the second goal as well. She's slow to her feet, the captain today, and will have to make her way off the pitch, it looks like. Maybe a Sammy Reimer or Lacey Kindle to come in here for the Caps. We'll have to see what the call is on the far touchline. Both teams get a break here of action. And a good team talk here as looks like the Rovers have made a couple of subs. Will it be a corner? We'll see. 2 players on the far side.
For substitution for Vancouver in the 70th minute, leading match number 28, Brian Reed. Into the match number
Weird play here, but either way, we will play on. It will be a corner here in the 70th minute. I thought the ball was in behind McCaslin, but another fantastic save. Deceiving from the angle here at Thunderbird. Matty Ma in the corner with Nekic to show short. Matty Ma's right-footed ball towards the 6. Up there is James, bounces down, away by Perreault. And a throw on this side for TSS. Amanda Scott with a throw-in. Bounces down for Ma. Beaten to it by Hernandez Gray. Abby Anderson, the one coming in for the Caps, a attacking option instead. As dropping deep. The center back role is Chloe Taylor. '72nd minute. Throwing for the Caps on the right side. Quickly played forward for Abigail Anderson. Well tracked back by Bishop. Ma pokes it ahead for Kavanaugh. Whitecaps get it back into the Rovers half for a goal kick for Kirsten Tynan here. Who has trained with Everton in the past in a trial stint. Experienced keeper, her and Camille Jou were the two kind of back and forth last year. Rovers also have Claudia Mazzi and May Hobenshield this year in the squad, but it's been a Tynan spot to lose. Tynan, the purple-clad keeper, will distribute here for the visitors. 2-2 game. Tilly James, a beautiful flick on. Maddie Ma for TSS. Bishop on the left side for Taylor Nekic. Kavanaugh, the overlap. Might go instead to Baxter, away quickly by Reimer. Make that Martin. Kavanaugh. Kavanaugh towards goal. Grab by McCaslin here. Picked up by Tia Mason, the sub. Fresh legs here for the Caps as she runs down the left side. Kaylee Hunter on the turn. Wearing the captain's armband after Reed had to leave the pitch. Hunter trying to play it through for Hernandez Gray. Up in the air here for Amanda Scott and just didn't get it cleanly. Rolled off her right boot, thrown here for the Caps. Mason to take. This match, everything you could have wanted. The first installment of the Women's League One BC semifinal installment 1. Abigail Anderson back to her right for Hernandez Gray. Kira Martin looks ahead, nodded down by Scott. Rozosa Dolasol got it away just for a moment. Rozosa Dolasol mishit it. She'll get a chance to reclaim it for Baxter. '74th minute here. Hernandez Gray. the left side here for Mason. Farimo steps in, now Tilly James. James off to the races for TSS here. Tilly James, one-on-one, carries on her run to the outside. Look at her go, Tilly James back across, and grabbed by Abigail Anderson, who's there, and rather McCaslin will make the grab for the Whitecaps. Longhurst. Hernandez-Gray running through midfield. Geneva Hernandez-Gray shapes up from outside the 18. Plays it to her right for Gutierrez. Step over, Gutierrez has a go. Grab by Tannen. Gutierrez 6 games played this year. Overall now 7, including this one. 3 goals to her name. Tannen up in the air. Nodded forward by Martin. Bishop off the right boot. Met in the air by Kavanaugh. Taylor up towards Hernandez-Gray. Throwing here quickly for Gutierrez. Towards Perreault. Nekic got it off Perreault. And great job by Nekic defending. She's been excellent on the left side tonight for TSS. '76 minutes. Off the boot of Gutierrez again, right to Nekic, who will have another throw here. Baxter. Beautifully done, back to Bishop. Bishop forward for James, and crucial header there. Back down into the fray by, I believe it was Anderson. Tia Mason now. Chloe Taylor make that. Patrick. Great ball. Longhurst quickly ahead for the Caps, and we'll see. It will be a free kick as advantage was played, but overran by Anderson. And a free kick in a tantalizing position here, and a yellow card for Sofia Farimo in the 77th. Joining Baxter in the book. Her teammates, who's been quiet the last 15 or so after scoring that penalty kick. Reminder, if this game is tied after 90, it will go straight to penalties. No extra time. 5-person TSS wall. Hernandez-Gray standing over it. Set piece specialist for the Caps. Also there is Baxter. We'll see who shapes up forward here. Hunter gives way. It's Hernandez-Gray. Standing over it, 5-person wall for TSS. Tynan shaping up on the left side. Hernandez-Gray leaves it for Perreault, and Tynan just lets it go on her right side here and tells her team to just slow it down a little bit. Here in the 78th minute, who's going to try and go for the win? Tynan on the goal kick here. 79th minute. 2-2 the score. Caps 2 and 11 minutes in the first half. Rovers 1 in the added time of the first half. It was about a minute. Bishop scored a scorcher from about 25 yards out. And the penalty kick 2 minutes after halftime. Tilly James won it. Came on as a sub in the second half. Baxter took it. That's where we stand. 11 minutes and change to go. Semifinal number 1, League 1BC this weekend. Sunday, Cloverdale Athletic Park at 2 between Unity FC and Burnaby FC. Bishop for Amanda Scott. Up ahead for Tilly James. James trying to run at Hernandez-Gray. Hernandez-Gray stepped in well, but James wins the ball. Beautifully done by Tilly James. She keeps on running. She has numbers. James across goal. The volley from Kavanaugh was deflected and blocked by Perot. And it's a corner for TSS. Second of the contest. And that was a lovely ball in from Tilly James after she won it over Hernandez Gray. Corner kick for Ma and maybe Taylor Nekic. Nekic with her hand up. On the left foot. Towards the front stick. Away by Mason. Back though for Ma. Left-footed volley in towards the 18. Flicked away by the Caps. So right back up in the air. Good touch here from Jenna Baxter. Baxter on this right flank. Looking long there. It's a driven ball towards James. It just struck it in a tough air to make a play. And Hernandez Gray channels it back to Taylor. Ma steps in, but right back to a Whitecap. Survival of the fittest here. Both teams tired, a lot of running. It's been back and forth all game. Here is Kaylee Hunter running at the Rovers backline. To her right, Abby Anderson slots it past Tynan. And the Caps lead with 10 minutes to go. It's the substitute, Abby Anderson. 3-2 Whitecaps. Great ball laid through by Hunter. And Anderson just pushes it past Tynan on the right side. And it's just like that, blink of an eye, the Caps on a counterattack. Tynan beaten for the third time today. First real foray forward for the Caps in the last 20 minutes or so. That was threatening directly the goal. And Farimo and Rizzosa saw split. And Anderson converted to make it 3-2. Whitecaps, Anderson, the substitute, came in for the injured Reed. First goal of the year in 5 games played now. Here in the 82nd.
Back for goal. Her first of the playoffs, scorer number 26, Abby Anderson.
Whitecaps staring down the barrel. The final next Sunday at Swangard. Still 8 minutes to go. Ma knocked it down right to Hernandez Gray. Patrick trying to hustle past Amanda Scott. Scott does well to channel it to the right side. Rovers bench still working away here. We'll see who makes an appearance. As Lacey Kendall comes in for Bianca Patrick.
Fifth substitution for Vancouver in the 83rd minute. Leading the match, number 24, Bianca Patrick. In the match, number 23, Lacey Kendall.
Kaylee Hunter has been influential today. 1 goal, 1 assist. Perfectly weighted ball to find Abby Anderson to convert on the half breakaway. Throw in for Mason. Devin Kavanaugh on the left flank for TSS. Good job to scoot past Longhurst to second half sub for the Whitecaps. And Ma steps in, but one back by Anderson. Anderson, a nice little move past the Rovers Ma. Nekic, though, back to Bishop. Bishop, a high arching ball. Perot thumps it towards the tent in the far side of the scores table. And Nekic will quickly put it back into play for TSS. Flicked on by the Rovers. Right to the feet of Kira Martin, who's been exceptional at center back role today for the Caps. Amanda Scott up the right side for James. Ball might run out of play at will past Mason. Swan Guardians urging on the team here. Their team from Burnaby, BC. Good contingent of them with the men's semifinal underway already against Harborside. And two minds, I'm sure, for the supporters on which game to attend. You could make first half of this one, then hustle over to Swangard with Vancouver traffic. Might get there at a decent time, but good number of them today, and made sure the smoke was let off after the Baxter and Bishop goals. But it's Anderson's that has the Whitecaps ahead. 5 minutes plus the amount of time to go. Probably 2 or 3 to be added on after 90. After the delay in the Reed injury. Throw in here for Perreault. Anderson, the goal scorer, the third. Substitute Lacey Kindle just lost out there in midfield. Mason. Hernandez Gray, who's been quiet tonight on the score sheet, did get the assist in the Reed goal, the second for the Caps in the corner kick. Lacey Kindle trying to lay it through, but Bishop telegraphed it. Chevalier with a nice touch. Keep her team in possession. Rovers just need to get up the field here. Prepping to make one sub on the far side of the next stoppage of play. For Zoza Dolezal. Now Tynan. Fremo's been brilliant. Towards half, Mason stepped in. Hernandez Gray. Chloe Taylor. Vic Aslan to play towards half. Up there is Ma. Ma with a firm tackle. Forced it to the left for Nekic. And Nekic with just a misstep there. Gets it back. As Chevalier comes off. In comes Nia Quinn for TSS. 7 goals this year, 1 games played. Current Venus FC Premier Women's Player and youngest player on the game day roster today for TSS. 2007 born. Quinn comes in. Hunter. Got a nice touch from Longhurst to set her off to the races. Anderson making that same run through she did to get the third goal here. Kaylee Hunter herself! Saved by Tynan. It's a brilliant stop on her right side. Four brilliant saves from Tynan in this game. 2 on Hernandez Gray, 2 on Hunter. That one probably the best of the bunch, as it was a scorcher from distance from Hunter. And this time Anderson deemed to have fairly won the ball back for her squad. Hunter, Farimo stepped in. And then again to support it was Scott. Rososa Dalsall trying to slide in, couldn't. And it's Hernandez Gray. Kindly through, Hunter's offside. Hernandez Gray just pops up in those little pockets for the Caps. And this time turned aside by Tynan. After getting the better of her in the first half, but didn't in the last stanza of play as well in that 30 or so yard effort from Hunter. Clinical inside the box and outside the box is Hunter, as you saw with the first goal of the game earlier on. 88th minute, time winding down in the Rovers season, 4th seed. After losing out to the Caps in last year's semifinal, but in different fashion. That was a 5-2 game. It's pretty much all Caps, but this one has been a teeter-totter type game. Quinn has just lost out there, throwing for the Whitecaps. And the right flank, Perreault will take her time. Whitecaps 1 foot on the highway towards Swangard right now. Can the Rovers change that and go to their first final on home soil? The hallowed grounds of Swangard Stadium. Quinn now. Kavanaugh looking to change the script of this one towards James. James trying to run to it here. Good running from Tilly James, the sub in the second half that won the penalty for TSS to tie it up 2-2. James, beautiful ball! And just past Baxter, who is poaching to try and get to that ball. But it was snapped by McCaslin. Lovely in-swinger there from TSS and almost directed towards goal by Baxter. Rovers get it back here. A lot of running they've had to do, not with the ball today. And will that fatigue play a factor in the last 15 seconds of regulation? And then a few of extra time, still waiting for the fourth officials board up there on the far touchline. Gutierrez. Anderson channels it through to make it 4! They do! It's off-tied and in! And the Whitecaps double their lead. It's Josie Longhurst. It's 4-2 Caps. And that'll close the door for the Rovers on the final. Seemingly the Whitecaps up, and away towards their third straight League 1BC final. On the stroke of 90 minutes, Josie Longhurst puts it off tied into the top corner. Heartbreak for TSS after they did so well to battle back here. And they both teams deserved to win this game. The way the Rovers came back, didn't put their head down. And now they'll try and cut this one back. This one in towards James. Rizosa Dolasol climbed highest, and it's saved by McCaslin. Swan Guardians cheering on their team here after a quick goal. Both goals, Anderson and Longhurst, her first goal for the Caps, seemingly blink and you'll miss it type goals. Is this one played towards Quinn, out of play?
From Anderson in the 90th minute.
Sammy Reimer about to come in for the Caps. Out is Chloe Taylor.
In stoppage time, leaving the match, number 20, Chloe Taylor. And into the match,
Chloe Taylor's day is done here. In comes Sammy Reimer. Her 11th game played of the year. Hunter. Anderson overtaken well. Farimo. Foul free kick here for the Rovers. Still will not give way. That's their spirit. Go away or give up here. Spirit of the Rovers, as always, present here as they try to avoid elimination for the second consecutive year at the Whitecaps, who are knocking at the door of a third consecutive League 1BC final at Swangard Stadium next Sunday at 1 p.m. Rizosa Dolasol, a 33-yard effort here on her left foot. Baxter also shaping up two people in the wall for the Whitecaps. It's Baxter! Grabbed by McCaslin here in the 90th. Ushers her team up the field. Referee checks his watch here. Still some time to go. Beautiful touch from Anderson. Gutierrez will collect. Gutierrez quickly ahead for Patrick. Up the right side. Plays it back across for Kindle and cleared away by TSS. Hernandez Gray, a late throw in. Got it back. Get that to Gutierrez in the right touchline with Hernandez Gray, hands on hips in midfield, just waiting to celebrate this one with their teammates. And it's going to be a yellow card for time wasting here for Gutierrez, who made sure to go to the farthest side of the hill to get that ball and not the closest one, about 10 yards to her right. Good job by Quinn, the sub for TSS, to use that lots of gas she has in the tank to try and win that ball. James comes through the defender. Kira Martin. Baxter on the throw. Looking towards Bishop. Got it down. And there is Caps Longhurst, the 4th goal scorer. Great work in midfield by Hernandez-Gray. Reimer. Reimer to the outside for Whitecaps. Just past her foot. Tynan trying to quickly play it ahead for TSS here. Tynan towards half. Up there was James. Collected by Hernandez-Gray for Reimer. Up the left channel. Throw in here for TSS. And to Scott. SFU player to take towards Maddie Moss, 2nd-year Rover. Tilly James out of her reach. Reimer for Hernandez-Gray. Hernandez-Gray now in midfield. Kira Martin. Mia Gutierrez. Up the left side for Sammy Reimer. Reimer lays it through. It's a lovely ball for Kindle. Kindle back across. Space for Kaylee Hunter on the right foot. To her left. Cleared away by Bishop. And that's it. The Whitecaps have booked their spot to their 3rd straight League 1 BC Women's Championship Final next Sunday at 1 p.m. against either Unity FC or Burnaby FC. That match to be played on Sunday at Cloverdale Athletic Park. You can watch that one on YouTube, or come on down to Cloverdale Athletic Park at 2 p.m. kickoff, as mentioned. Here's how it shook down this evening. As pretty even game, only 3 cards total handed out, 2 to the Rovers, 1 for the Caps that was laid on for time wasting for Mia Gutierrez. Kaylee Hunter got things going for the Caps in the 22nd minute. It was an effort from outside the 18 that beat Tynan. She could only punch it to the back of the net, as there was a lot of power from Hunter in that strike. 2-0 for the Caps in the 33rd minute. Hernandez-Gray off a corner to Brianne Reid, who headed that one in. She had to unfortunately leave the game. She gave way for Abby Anderson. More on that in a moment. Rovers are not to be undone in the first half. Bishop with a scorcher from 25 yards out into the top corner past the Caps keeper Morgan McCaslin to make it 2-1, and it was a quick answer from the Rovers after halftime. Tilly James came in at half for TSS for Claire Yee. She was influential in this game, and she was fouled. Penalty kick was awarded to TSS, taken by Baxter. Baxter converted into the top corner to make it 2-2. 81st minute, it was Anderson the winner with 9 minutes to go, and a pass from Hunter had 1 goal, 1 assist in the day. And then it was the lights out goal for the Caps. Josie Longhurst on a similar goal for the Caps to Anderson, and that's your final 4-2. Caps back-to-back years winners over the Rovers in League 1 BC semifinals. The Caps will go to the League 1 BC final next Sunday at Swangard Stadium. 1 p.m. kickoff to be determined either against Unity or Burnaby. Those games being played on Sunday at 2 at Cloverdale Athletic Park. I'll have the call for you. Your final score tonight, Whitecaps 4, Rovers 2. Great season again for TSS, and congratulations to the Whitecaps on going on to the finals of League 1 BC for the 3rd consecutive year. Gideon Hill signing off from Thunderbird. Whitecaps 4, TSS 2.